that no contact doesn't mean that you continue to read text messages and emails, maybe listen to voicemails, but you're not answering the phone and you're not responding to emails and you're not responding to text messages. But how is that no contact? Because you might feel some contact because you're not contacting back, but when you allow your BPDX to make that contact with you, you're still receiving contact. And that has many different purposes for people. For some people who are just been ghosted or discarded, and you're in that really limbo place and you still want them back, and so you wonder if they're thinking about you and are they going to contact you again. And that's one reason why people just leave it open, like, so you can be texted, you can be called, but you won't answer the calls, and you can be emailed, but you're not responding. But a lot of people don't realize that, especially if you're starting to realize that this person, even if you still want them back, is really not going to work out for you, then this sort of half no contact, which is really not no contact, is every time you might hear from your ex or get an email or the odd call or maybe really a lot of text or the odd text, every time you read any contact or hear their voice, it's going to cause you to spiral all over again. So this is often what a lot of people with codependency will do for many different reasons. But one of the reasons in this sort of half no contact that isn't no contact is because you're still hoping, and even if you don't want them back, you think, well, you're trying to assuage your pain, and yet it will cause you more pain, and it creates a lot more anger and hurt for people. So, if you're letting your ex still, let's say, communicate like by text, but you think you're no contact because you're just reading and not contacting back, what about the contact they're giving you? Ever get a text from a BPDX that said, miss you, but then you never hear anything else? Or even if you responded to it, they don't answer you, and then maybe time goes by, weeks, months, maybe a year or more, and all of a sudden there's another one of those sort of crazy texts saying something like, miss you. Well, the thing about that is, when the ex of BPD hoovers you in an email or a text or whatever, it's not like they're thinking about you like you're thinking about them. And a lot of people that I've worked with over the years, are in this kind of half contact, because it's not no contact, not contacting back, though some will at times, and that doesn't go well. But it's like when you get a text from them, you want them back, you want to know what's going on, you're trying to figure it all out. So you get a text from them, or many, or several, or on and off. But even many people, they'll text back, and there's no answer back. And then time goes by, and then you get another text. Well, what I want you to know that it doesn't mean from most people with BPD, like it just doesn't mean that they're thinking about you, and they care about you, and they're trying to reach out to you the way that you want it to mean, that they're thinking about you like you're thinking about them, that they're still caring about you like you're still caring about them. And in fact, that if you're longing and hoping to get them back and you're still in denial that the relationship can't work out, that's not where they're at with that either. So people with BPD do this hoovering. If you keep leaving the contact open, even if you're not replying back, and it just causes people to recycle, to ruminate harder, will bring back limerence or increase limerence, and you'll be focused on the good times and the good memories, and it really causes a lot of hurt and pain. So the question is, for a lot of people who might be doing this, first of all, I just want to say it's not no contact. But the second thing is, what do you think you're getting from this, and why would you make this choice? And what's stopping you from making the next choice, which is getting into working with someone? I'm out here to work with you if I resonate with you, and getting into the action of working through the very painful and difficult challenge of actually going no contact and why it's so important. People are cycling around and believing, like I'm going to reiterate, many people are believing that, if a person with BPD texts and says, how you doing, miss ya, something like that, but you're not really going to respond, you want them to be thinking of you like you're thinking of them. You want to see that maybe that means they care. It doesn't. They're probably bored. They're in between people. They're having a down moment. They're impulsive. BPD Hoovers are always about the borderline. They're not for you. Even if you respond, even if you, try to work your way back, see them again, start all over again in a recycling relationship, BPD Hoovers are just not about you. The way that you want them to be, how you want to be seen and heard and cared for and loved, because you still are longing to be with them. But just remember, if you are accepting calls but you listen to the messages, they can text you. They might do that once in a while. Some will never do it. Or you're reading their emails that they send, if they send one once in a while or whatever. That is not no contact. It's not even really half no contact, because just because you don't contact them back, maybe you haven't thought about the damage and how much pain, anger, and hurt, and a plethora of other emotions that are unpleasant to feel, that you are remaining open to having them affect you with the ways that they will sporadically say the odd thing here and there. And so people do that because they don't know how to let go, don't know how to break the fantasy bond, but it's really hurtful. And no contact is in most cases so necessary and so important, or people just stay stuck in this limbo, and maybe sometimes wanting to recycle, maybe sometimes ending up recycling. But I have to also say that a lot of people who got a BPDX, a lot of people with BPD just don't Hoover, just don't text. That after a discard, you won't ever hear from them again. And either way, whether they're still contacting you here and there, but you're trying not to contact back, or you don't hear from them again, either way, you need to get into working on your healing recovery so you can go no contact, because it's part of the realization and the process to accepting that a relationship that you really did a lot, you gave the person a lot, you wanted so much to have it work out, it just couldn't work out. And how can you work on accepting that, or getting into a healing recovery process? Again, I'm out here to work with you, but I resonate with you. If you're continually thinking, like staying open to them being able to contact you, and then thinking when they do, they say this, that, the other. I've had lots of clients ask me, well, what does this text mean? Why did they say this? Why did they call now? Why did they leave a message? How come I didn't hear from them for 6 months, or a year and a half, or 2 years, or 10 months, or whatever the increment of time is? And that's people who are sitting in a really stuck, really painful place. So ask yourself, is that where you are right now? And what are you doing to yourself? And you may have a plethora of reasons why you want the contact, if you get contact, and you want to just read it, but you're not going to recontact them. But that's not no contact, and it's keeping you stuck, and it hurts, because the text you're going to get, if you get one, isn't going to mean what you want it to mean, or the call, or the email. And if you still stay stuck in the limerence and the fantasy bond and your codependency and the rumination, a lot of people are stuck there, and a lot of people, that's the focus of most of their lives. They might go to work, they might do the odd other thing, but they're thinking so much about the BPDX, and it wasn't even that great in the relationship, but the rumination and the limerence takes you always only to the good memories, and you're so missing them. Just know when the borderline X hoovers you, it's all about them, and they might be telling you something that you want to hear, or they might just be popping off a text impulsively, and you might not hear from them again for a long time, if ever. And so how can that really be meaningful, even though you're trying to hang on to the relationship that didn't work out, that ruptured, and you're trying to still create meaning from it in a way that's holding up your life? And I know that it's really painful for people, but just give that some thought, because people who are sitting in this limbo place, no man's land of heartache and agony, you really need to get into working with someone, and you really need to be helped and supported, talk it out, to get into the action step of blocking them. Full no contact is what people in this sort of limbo place, circling around, accepting contact, but not, you think you're no contact because you're not contacting them. It's just an incredibly painful place to be, and you might not even recognize, you might know, but you might not even recognize how you're spiraling if you do get the odd text or email or something from a BPDX, and what you want that to mean, and how coming from a BPDX, it just does not mean what you want it to mean.